Yes, I considered Buzzfeed to be a solid, reputable source for strong investigative journalism. I mean, maybe you don't remember, but it was in Buzzfeed where Jim DeRogatis broke the 2017 story about R. Kelly that finally resulted in his eventual conviction and imprisonment. It won Pulitzers for publishing the Steele dossier, as controversial as that was at the time, and for a series on the mass detention of Uyghurs in China. Its reporting on the toxic work culture at the Ellen Show led to the cancellation of both, well, the show and really of Ellen DeGeneres herself. People are quick to write off BuzzFeed because of the sophomoric listicles and the crazy personality quizzes that are not even remotely accurate to anything. At the same time, they found this formula where that content paid for really, really good journalism.
Right. And it's a discussion that's been going on in newspapers for a long time. Why do we have all this other stuff in there? It's like, well, people want to read that, and it provides the revenue for us to do the things on these pages. And that was a good model until it wasn't.
Yeah, and here's
it was good until it wasn't.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So all of the things that made money and continue to make money for BuzzFeed, they're keeping. Mm-hmm. It's the news part that's going to be gone.
Which was the expensive part.
Which was the expensive, substantive part of what they were doing. And to me, that's the thing that really bothers me and concerns me, is that because we not only see it within the BuzzFeed structure, but we also see some of that within even some of the legacy media, where fewer and fewer stories that really have an impact on people's everyday lives. How we cover government, how we cover healthcare, how we cover the environment and climate change and those sorts of things become sort of something that we can push away or decide not to invest in. But we're going to continue to keep all of these other things that generate money and clicks, or however you want to describe that. That's a problem, because the more we keep doing that, the less we're going to be informed as a public, and that's dangerous.
It is, and BuzzFeed, for being everything online, I saw some of the reporting that talked about how social media has changed, and that when they started this model, social media was sort of the a front door to, now you can go off to this. And as consumer tastes have changed and the way we use social media have changed, they've tried to keep people inside their own platforms. That hurts a company like BuzzFeed, who needs that path for people to get to their site. And so, the revenue just couldn't keep up.
Well, I think you bring up a very good point. You had this driving traffic here. That was the early days of social media. Now everyone wants to put all of their material behind a paywall and only want you to be inside of their paywall, which in many ways limits the ability to. It's almost like you're taking the democratic process out of capitalism in some ways when you do that by putting everything behind your paywall, and you have to do that. We talked about this the other day. It's the problem with the streaming channels that we have right now, is that if everyone's going to put theirs behind a paywall, people can't afford to have 5 or 6 streaming channels. They're going to make decisions, and what happens is you have fewer and fewer of those streaming channels because the other ones can't operate. They don't have the funding to operate that way. So again, that's BuzzFeed's problem, is that it just couldn't generate enough revenue, and so they had to make cuts, and they cut the news.
It's a sad thing.
Yeah.
Just hearing the way you say that, and they cut the news.